haven't wanted to do a video like this. As a matter of fact, I've even recorded videos where I've gotten brave to share some of my concerns, and I haven't posted them because I chickened out, because I don't want my business stripped away from me. I don't want to be physically attacked. I don't want to be mentally and emotionally attacked. I want you to know that even if we disagree politically, I love you. And I don't care who you love. I don't care what you do with your body. Don't tell me what to do with my body, though. Don't tell me how I have to behave. And I've been so polite to a fault. A lot of us have. We've been so scared to speak up because we don't want to add to the divide. We don't want to add to more of the problem. And some of the people in power want us like that. They want us all fighting with each other so that we don't notice the bigger picture. So that we're fighting about who to love and this and that. Pretty soon, we won't even have that option about who to love. There'll be no one to love because we'll be gone. So this has gotten much bigger than that. I invite you to listen with your heart and to remember my heart. If you know me and if you don't, get to know me. I promise you I come in peace, whether we agree or disagree. Please watch this whole video and let me know how you're feeling at the end and offer some solutions, possibly, if you have them. Because we don't need more arguments, but we do need more solutions and we do need more conversations. On this channel, I don't talk politics, but because it's infiltrated everything, it's impossible at this point not to. It has infiltrated everything. And number one, it is impacting our safety. So we've got to talk about it. When I'm talking about narcissism, I talk about how to heal from it, how to spot it, how to thrive and survive, how to create a happy life, how to read behavior, emotional intelligence. I would be amiss to not mention the biggest world play on the world stage right now and how it's affecting us in our daily lives. I cannot be silent anymore in the name of love. In the name of love, I'm going to speak up. And I hope that you understand that I am coming at this with so much love. Please watch and let me know. Watch this. I'm also going to show you some other videos, so don't miss out and just, think that you know what I'm going to say. Please watch and then listen. We can't always assume we know what somebody's going to say if we don't listen to what they're saying. So watch the video clips that I include in this video, please, and weigh in after listening with your heart. Okay? Thank you.
Tonight, for the first time, the DEA confirms they are looking into criminal activity in our area, allegedly committed by a Venezuelan gang.
The Tren de Aragua gang has been labeled by the White House as a transnational criminal organization. In a statement obtained by Denver 7 Investigates, the DEA says agents have seized multi-kilogram quantities of fentanyl destined for the Denver metro area from individuals believed to be members and or associates of the gang, but also added, quote, "It is not appropriate for the DEA or to offer any additional comments on the organization's role or presence in the region."
Now, while the DEA stopped short of saying the gang's here, local law enforcement is making that connection. From Aurora Police tonight, APD has been increasingly collecting evidence to show the gang is connected to crimes in the area.
Hello, this is Leah here. If you're coming back to my channel, thank you so much for returning. If you're brand new here, welcome, welcome. I'm evolving. This channel is evolving. There are some things that I have got to talk about that I haven't wanted to talk about. You can see from the title of the video, Venezuelan Gangs Moving into Denver. Thank you, Kamala. So you might have some type of feeling about that. You might feel some type of way about that, as the kids these days are saying. And this video is not easy for me to do. I haven't wanted to even talk about this. The last 2 weeks, I've actually been grieving really hard for my dad, because my dad passed away in February. So a lot of that was coming up for me, sadness. And then also just real sadness, real despair for this world. And anybody who has worked with me knows, I hope you know, my heart. I have worked with a lot of people in the past 11 years as a personal development coach, as an acting teacher. I've worked with a lot of people from a lot of different beliefs, a lot of different political beliefs, religious beliefs, and I come with peace. And anybody who's worked with me knows that. We might disagree, but I believe in having conversations because I do believe in freedom of speech. So if you disagree with me here, please share with me why you disagree. Let's not just attack each other because that makes the problem grow. And to my friends that grew up with me in my hometown of Denver, Colorado, please, if you watch this, weigh in because I'm thoroughly at a loss at this point. I haven't wanted to make a video about this, even though I've made some other videos on some of these topics, and I've been scared. I've been scared, not just because of my own ego and not wanting to be called a dirty name, something that couldn't be farther from the truth, like a racist, but also because I've actually been in fear for my very life and for my daughter's life. And that might sound really dramatic, but it's true. It's absolutely true. I've been scared. But just sitting and being scared and shutting in is also the problem. I haven't wanted to add to the conversation because there's so much noise and there's so much name calling from people who supposedly love each other, people that I love, colleagues of mine, in the name of love, calling people who don't think like you racist. We've got to get beyond this. We've got to get beyond. It's a genius marketing campaign and it's a genius gaslighting tactic to call anybody, who doesn't agree with you a racist. But we've got to get beyond that because there are some good people saying the truth and they're just being called these awful names because it's an easy thing to do to get somebody to shut up. And it's why I've been quiet because I don't want to be called a name of something, especially that I am not. I'm really, really concerned because yes, Venezuelan gangs are here. They're here. They're in Denver, Colorado. I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I can see the difference. I moved to LA, lived there for over a decade, moved back to start a family. That's a whole other story that maybe I'll share with you sometime. But long story short, I'm a mommy. I'm a double parent. I'm scared to even say that on a forum like this because I could be attacked, quite literally. I have been put in so many dangerous situations just by trying to live my life. So I really want to speak up about this because I actually care. I care about people of all different colors, religions, political beliefs. We as United States Americans need to be safe in this country. When we're safe, when we have more possibility, at least for safety, we can and do help other people. That's not racist to say that. To say if we're all going down with the ship, nobody can be helped. That's just a fact. That is just a fact. So I can't be silent anymore because every single day, these policies, I'm coming face to face with them. It's impossible to ignore at this point unless you have allowed yourself, and I speak this with love because I think some people with their good heart are saying, oh, I want to vote for the love and for the joy. And I get that. Who doesn't? I don't know anybody who doesn't want love and joy. But people being assaulted in the street, stores shutting down because they can't afford the $950 freebie that goes out to anybody who you can shoplift up to $950 and there's no charge. And as a matter of fact, I've talked to many store clerks who who they say they just watch people walk out with merchandise every single solitary day. This is a real bill. This is a real policy. I discovered it in 2021 when I noticed people just walking out in the droves out of Best Buy and different places. And so I asked, I'm like, what is this? Why can people just shoplift now? And then I learned from the store clerks and from talking to police that yes, that's a real thing. You can shoplift up to $950 and not be charged. So it's a way to support criminals. When I tell people this, they have no idea. They're like, what do you mean? That can't be legal. It is legal. How did I find out about this? I found out about this because I had moved. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole here. I want to stay focused. This is another reason why I don't talk about this stuff, because you can easily dissociate. As somebody who's come out of narcissistic abuse, this is gaslighting and narcissistic abuse at its finest, because people are really bad, people are getting good people to do their bidding. And so then it gets really confusing and mixed up. So I'm going to really try to stay with the facts and the basics here. And again, if you disagree with me, just show me where you disagree, because these are actual, just factual things that are actually happening. Venezuelan gangs have moved into all sorts of places all around the United States, especially in Denver and in Aurora. You might have seen this on the news, right? You might have seen this happening. Well, I've seen this in plain sight in my everyday living. I've noticed this. Okay. So there's some horrible things happening that we've got to address. And it all comes down to policy. It all comes down to bills. It's not about if you're racist or not. I mean, sure, there are some terrible people in this world that are racist. There's some people in this world that want us all gone if you don't think, look, and act a certain way, right? Well, these Venezuelan gangs kind of don't seem super friendly. The Venezuelan gangs are moving in and they are not friendly and they want to take over. And why is this happening? Because we have allowed this to happen, because out of fear of not being called racist, you don't want to be called racist. So you're just allowing everybody in without any documentation. I don't even know where to begin. I begin to just completely start dissociating because it's so hard to talk about. These are real things that are actually happening. How have I discovered some of these things that are happening? Well, first of all, I lived in a home, in a house, right? A house. And neighbors and people were having people, this is just the crime rate that has gone up since 2020. It ramped up in 2021 even more. And then now it's just through the roof. So in 2021, I lived in a house, and neighbors and nearby houses, people were just wandering in due to the fentanyl all over the streets. There's a lot of people on fentanyl. There's a lot of people that are not well on the streets. Why is there so much fentanyl? Why? Well, because we've allowed a lot of these drug pushers, fentanyl pushers, into the country. It's no accident why there's more here now. So people are wandering into people's homes. That's scary. As a double parent, that's very scary. I don't want to wake up with somebody sleeping under my coffee table that I don't know, and especially somebody who's on who knows what. That's a dangerous situation. So I moved into an apartment building thinking that it would be safer. Meanwhile, I moved into a completely gang-ridden area. And it was gunshot, gunfire, day and night, all day and night, literally all day and night. It was terrifying. The day that I moved in, somebody was murdered a half a block away from me. not even a half a block. I could see where the scene of the crime was from my living room window. It was absolutely terrifying. That proceeded by day and night of ba 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 ba. You could hear it day and night. You look on the Ring app, on Nextdoor app, and any kind of neighborhood app, and you could see everybody's talking about it. The newbies would come moving in. I just moved here. Why are there fireworks day and night? There aren't fireworks, newbie. Hey, rookie, those aren't fireworks. This is an extremely dangerous, gang-ridden area. I went to the police department. At that time, I was in Lakewood, Colorado. I went to the Lakewood Police Department. I said, am I nuts? Am I going out of my mind? People are getting cars stolen out of the parking lot all day and night out of my apartment complex. I hear gunshots all day and night. This is such a cute area with things to walk to. And friends were like, oh, come move here, because they lived in the suburbs in Lakewood and it's beautiful. And so, against my better judgment, having grown up in Denver, knowing that, well, that's considered North Denver and that's considered not a good area, but it's gentrified. It's all cute. We have cute stores now and tea lights. It's adorable. Okay, so I gaslit myself into thinking maybe it's going to be okay. No, it's not okay. I go talk to the Lakewood Police Department. Am I nuts? Or is it very dangerous for me and my daughter to live here? Is it dangerous for us to walk to the park in the middle of the day or at 10 a.m., at 2 in the afternoon? They said, yes, it's extremely dangerous. I wouldn't do it. You could be caught in crossfire so easily. There is so much violence. I said, why? Why is it so bad? They said, well, number one, during COVID in 2020, they let out a bunch of prisoners out of the Wadsworth jail, a prison. I said, why? They said, well, your guess is as good as mine, I guess, because city officials, law enforcement, not law enforcement meaning the police, but essentially the Biden administration thought they might get COVID, the prisoners. So they let them out. This happened all over the country. So we let out prisoners of our own. And then they said, top that with defunding the police. A lot of people left the law enforcement. So they said we're understaffed. Then they made it a slap on the hand warning if somebody's smoking crack or shooting up heroin on the street, whereas it used to be $1,000 fine and, penalties and ticket and all this stuff. Now it's just, hey, would you mind not doing that? So the police were like, we don't have time to give out warnings and especially go into very dangerous situations where we have to wear hazmat protection and stuff because there's needles and all sorts of things. We can't go in to just give a warning and do that. It's not worth the manpower, besides the fact that somebody else across the street is being shot at. So we have to deal with those situations. They said compound that with the $950 bill where you can go shoplift up to $950 and it's not a felony, there's no charge. They said, so people literally are going into stores and just loading up and leaving. And they said, we can't do anything about that because there's no problem, but there's a problem for the store owners. There's a problem for the store clerks. So this is a major issue, right? And they said, so combine that with everything else and then open borders. And now we have this migrant crime. They said, we don't really have the manpower to handle it. Now, this was in Lakewood in 2021. So then I move again, I break my lease. My landlords even know it's so bad that they allow me to break my lease. I'm like, I got to get out of here. It's so dangerous. They said, yeah, you're right. They let me, they thankfully gave me my deposit back. Let me go. Then I move into another place. I'm moving around everywhere, but now no one is safe. Everywhere you go, this is now the thing. So if you're in the suburbs and you're going, oh, Leah, that's just racist for you to say that. This is coming to your area soon. I know a lot of people who live in very nice areas and this is happening in their area. This is not propaganda. This is not fake news. This is actually real. This is happening. So if you think that Trump is a racist because he wants to put a stop to this, I really beg you to rethink this. because this is a real issue. Since I've moved to another location, which I'm not going to disclose, dear God, at least I have that sense about me, I'm scared to even make this video because I run into these Venezuelan gang members. I've actually seen them. So I'm going to share with you if you haven't seen this footage, because this is stuff that my daughter and I've been seeing in real time, just around Denver, just around. It's not funny at all. So Mayor Mike Johnson, you said in a statement, which I'm going to show in just a moment, that this hasn't been happening in Denver or you haven't seen it. Well, I just made a phone call to the Denver Police Department this morning and had a long talk with them, because I'm convinced, and I know for sure now, that I have run into these Venezuelan gang members. I actually have. And I've seen them on the street. I've run into them at parks. I've run into them at Target. I've run into them everywhere. Okay. Now, I don't want to be unalived, since you can't say that on YouTube. I don't want to be unalived in order to draw attention to this. But I feel like my life and my daughter's life and many other people's lives of all different colors, not, just because I'm white doesn't mean I just care about white people. I care about all of you of all different colors. And my suburban moms, who are the most eyes closed right now and dissociated and gaslit, because my suburban moms who so want to be that good person, this is harmful. This is actually harmful. I'm getting more and more scared. You can't walk anywhere. You can't go to the store. No one is safe. Now that might sound doom and gloom. And so you're like, oh, you're just a Trumpster and you guys are so negative. No, we're realists and we're looking at this. And yes, I am. I'm going to come out right now and say I'm supporting Trump. And if you want to yell at me for that, I want you to give me advice on who am I supposed to call? Who am I supposed to call? Kamala wants to defund the police and she wants to reimagine what it would look like for safety. Well, I don't even know what that reimagining is. All I know is that she doesn't want to have more police available. Well, I'll tell you what, when I had 3 a.m. the other night and had to call the police because I witnessed Venezuelan gang almost murdering a woman right before my eyes, literally, and in front of her 2-year-old kid or somebody's 2-year-old kid, it was pretty darn scary, to say the least. And then everyone says, oh, there's nothing we can do, or there's nothing we can do. So I call the police and I talk to them and I say, this is very scary. I've run into these people. Is this like a real problem? I've witnessed an assault. I saw somebody at Target being assaulted. I witnessed a woman almost being unalived right before my eyes. I called the police about it. And I've been noticing it with cars broken into, all sorts of, not just the Venezuelan gangs. Crime is through the roof for a lot of reasons. But I've actually witnessed these Venezuelan gangs. So I hope I'm going to be okay just even doing this video. But when I called the police and I asked them again, now 3 years later, in a whole different area of Colorado, and I said, this is what I'm witnessing. What is going on? They said, it's very real. They said, we're just as confused as you as to what to do about this. I said, out of all the people that are committing these crimes, are you noticing that there are a lot of people that are from, they're not ID, they have no ID? And they said, no, they have no ID at all. So they have no ID who these people are. And I said, so then what? Then you put them in jail and then they just go? And they said, well, basically, because when you don't know who somebody is or their criminal record or anything, whatever crime they commit, yes, if they commit, a heinous crime, they'll be put in our jail. But depending upon the courts, they can be let out on the cashless bail. So then I pull the string further. Well, what's up with this cashless bail? That's another Kamala policy. What is it, you might ask, if you don't know what it is? It's where you can commit this heinous crime, go in, and then you're let off without having to pay a bail or any penalty. So we don't know who these people are. And then not only that, they're getting rewarded. They're getting rewarded for this stuff. This is so concerning, and it should concern people of all different colors. Okay, this is not a racist concern. This is an American concern. This is a concern for the people who've come over here legally and now they're in trouble. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Grew up with me here who think anybody who doesn't like this is racist. How is this helping anybody?
To that story that's grabbing the entire nation's attention. Fox 31, the first to obtain these videos of alleged gang activity at Aurora apartment complexes. Mayor Mike Kaufman telling Fox News gangs have pushed out property management through intimidation and are collecting rent.
The police in Denver also on high alert. We spoke to Mayor Mike Johnson about how the Mile High City is tackling these issues. Fox 31's Aaliyah Sims getting some answers for us tonight. Aaliyah.
Yeah, Erica, Mayor Mike Johnston said Denver police have already been working with federal, state, as well as other local agencies because they were made aware of the problem early on. Now, he says while there's no evidence of Denver apartments being taken over by Venezuelan gangs, he says they are providing a heavier police presence in areas that are a risk.
Yeah, do you think that they're going to admit? I mean, imagine the disarray if they admitted, like, yeah, we have no control. We've defunded the police to the point where they're understaffed. And the talk I just had with the Denver Police Department today, they just said, they're like, yeah, we're understaffed. We're trying to get people into the academy. This isn't a good situation at all. Oh my gosh. Okay, just watch this.
Yeah, so and it's infuriating. That should never happen in this state. It should never happen in Denver.
That's Mayor Mike Johnston's reaction to the many videos that continue to make headlines about Venezuelan gang violence.
So you think maybe you could just move into an apartment building and maybe you'll be safe because there's security there and whatever. Well, look at this. I mean, this is the stuff nightmares are made of. And no, you can't control, some people go, well, crime happens everywhere. Yes, but there's a way to mitigate it. There's a way to, decrease crime and not encourage it. I mean, we're literally encouraging it at this point.
The Denver metro area.
Obviously, that video was not taking place in Denver, and we are going to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't ever.
In a statement, Denver.
Mike Johnston, it is happening. It is happening in Denver. I literally can't walk a block without noticing. I've seen these guys. I've seen the tattoos. I've been up and close and personal with them. And I don't even want to mention where because I don't want to be tracked and traced. I mean, that's how scary. This is very real and this is very scary. And we should all be concerned. I don't care who or what your political background is. This should be concerning to you. Let go of the gaslighting and just look at the facts of what's actually happening. Denver, Colorado used to be a beautiful place. Now I can't walk down the street without seeing fentanyl overdose, a car broken into, a shoplifting spree happening, which it doesn't even need to be a burglar anymore. I just see people walking out with like thousands of dollars of merchandise. Have you not noticed this? I notice this everywhere. I notice this everywhere I go in Denver, everywhere I go now. And I ask people and I talk to people about it. And the people who don't understand had no clue. I was just talking to a mom yesterday who, loves Kamala. She had no clue that these are real things. She thought I was joking. It sounds like a joke because it can't be true. Like $950 you can just shoplift? Yes, you can.
Police appear to indicate the same, saying they take the presence of the TDA gang seriously. While DPD says they believe there are reasons members of the gang are tied to crimes in the area, the department says they are not aware of any apartments being taken over by the group within the metro area.
We're not tolerating.
Yeah, because they're probably paid off. I mean, can I even say that? Oh, geez, they're probably paid off. I mean, we're in a really weird, very scary movie right now.
That in Denver. We don't see any evidence of that in Denver.
I find it very hard to believe that has not gone into the city limits of Denver.
It has gone into the city limits of Denver. And you know that. You're being nice. You know that. Because Mike Johnson, you're like, where are you? It's like the suburban moms that I talk to who are like, well, I just want joy and love. And so that's why I want to vote for Kamala. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding snarky because I know some of you guys, I love you. You're my students or you're my colleagues and you think this way. And I sincerely love you. I'm trying hard not to be rude. But you're being mean. You're honestly being very mean by calling anybody who wants to be safe and have safe streets and have the ability to walk to the store and not feel like you're going to be attacked by Venezuelan gang member. That this is actually very, very real. 100% real. I have been noticing it everywhere I go. I've been trying to be quiet about it because I don't want to be attacked more, but this has become a critical mass. Like we are quite literally at war right now on our own American soil. It's happening.
Maybe they don't have enough intel yet to specifically say that they can tie that to the TDA gang.
James Albee, law enforcement procedural expert, says he believes city leaders are downplaying the seriousness of the problem.
I think they're trying to mitigate some of the fear and concerns that the community may end up having over this gang that I think is growing more and more every day.
He says the problem has already been identified, specifically in Aurora, and there should be more focus on how to address it.
There is a growing criminal element in Aurora that they can't deny. And I think, again, that's why they've got that task force involved in this, to try to gather intel and to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out exactly what they're doing and try to get ahead of it.
So Mayor Johnston goes on to say he wants to make it clear, especially to the Venezuelan population, if you feel threatened or unsafe, to call 911 or 311. Now, he says it's important to note that they will never ask you about your citizenship as well as your status. He says that there is no risk if you reach out to police.
And there's also no risk for people who commit these crimes. That's what's so scary. There's no risk for them. There's more of a risk for the citizen at this point than there are for criminals. We're literally setting up a system that works for criminals and it works against its very citizens. So when Kamala says that, I don't know what she says, something about like a political leader who's turning against its own citizens. No, that is literally what the Biden-Harris administration is doing. They are having people turn against American citizens. This is what's happening, and it's already happening. I watched a lady right outside my living room window get assaulted to the point it took her life away. And it was absolutely terrifying. And this is happening everywhere, every single solitary day. I want to show you another. This is something I want to share with you that a YouTuber who I just found today shared. And thank you so much for putting out content like this, because it's very important. And the more people that are putting this out, the more people shining awareness on this. Maybe some people can be lifted out of the brain fog of like, I'm a good person, so I'm going to vote for policies that hurt everybody. If you're a good person and you really care about people, look at what the policies actually do in action. This is a policy in action. This is what a sanctuary city looks like. This is happening all over the United States. And if it hasn't happened in your backyard yet, let's put new policies in place so that it doesn't. Okay. I don't want to wish this on anybody. I'm experiencing it every single day and it's terrifying. It's not fun at all. So let's watch another local news station here in Denver, Colorado, cover this, and thank you to this YouTuber for commentating on it because I also like what he says. So let's take a peek at this.
When you see this video, what do you think? Because I don't live in Aurora, but I think to myself, holy cow, if I lived in Aurora, I'd be freaking out right now.
Well, you live in Colorado, so you should be freaking out right now. If you live in the United States, you should be freaking out right now. If you voted for policies that in turn create this kind of a mess, you should be freaking out right now. But the good thing is we can speak out and make a change, but not by calling anyone a racist who wants safety. That is not the way to change. That is gaslighting at its finest.
It's let me put it in context first. This concern that it's 3 apartment complexes, but that's not to minimize it at all. But
it's 3 apartment complexes that they know about, by the way. It's 3 apartment complexes that they're admitting to. Because me, as just one single person, I've noticed it in many places. I've noticed it in 3 places I've lived. So I don't know. You do the math.
the 51st largest city in America, over 400,000 in population. And so, but there are 3 apartment complexes that we believe in where there is a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and the criminality is unfortunately followed.
Look, I'm all for people migrating here legally. I've had a lot of colleagues, a lot of friends, a lot of people that I've worked with and known and loved who have come here legally as a migrant and made a lot of money here. They come here legally and they do it the right way and they become citizens. And that's amazing. I love people like that. People like this, not so much. And is that wrong of me that I don't want this person at my door? Do you want this person at your door? Is this what you're voting for? I mean, really, let's pay attention here. This is not a popularity contest anymore. And who has prettier skin, orange man or tan lady? No, that's not what this is about anymore. We are far beyond that. Anybody voting for these kind of policies, really ask yourself, are you voting on the more caring thing, or are you voting on a popularity contest of whose skin you like better? Because that to me is racist. That's racist.
And so we have a task force with local, state and our federal law enforcement partners working on it to root these criminals out and get them off the streets. But it certainly concerns me. But it is in 3 apartment complexes.
The amount of stuttering that's happening here is it's unacceptable. That's number one. And number two, this is just absolutely mind-boggling that this is happening in the United States of America right before our very eyes. And these people think that we just supposed to lay down as voters. And, I know that I'm maybe not supposed to be concerned because I don't necessarily live in Denver or Aurora or any of these places that was signing letters and writing.
But not everybody here in Denver wants this kind of stuff happening. So if you're a caring person, yes, it's good that you're concerned, because I'm here in Denver and I'm very, very, very concerned. I'm concerned for all people all over the United States, whatever color skin you have. This is dangerous. This isn't, how can you vote for this with a clear conscience? I think the only way you can vote for this is when you don't know, when you don't really understand, right?
Love letters over to the Biden administration as far as the migrant crisis, because New York has got a
Yeah, let's back it up. Like people writing love letters over to the Biden administration for their immigration policies. If you're writing love letters to the Biden administration for their immigration policies, this is what it looks like. By trying to be nice, you're actually being really cruel and not nice to the people who deserve it, to the people coming over here who deserve real opportunity and real freedom. You're actually denying them by voting for policies that support criminals. I mean, that's really what it is. It's not about color. It's about criminal versus non-criminals. That's really what it is.
Signing letters and writing love letters over to the Biden administration as far as the migrant crisis, because New York has got a multi-billion-dollar deficit. Chicago has a $982 million upcoming shortfall, and they've been in the red for a long time, and they got their whole stuff being ran by a school teacher. Y'all about to vote in Tim Walz, another school teacher. Got Kamala Harris fumbling on CNN. And so I'm not necessarily supposed to be concerned about Denver because this is the bed that they made, and so now they have to lay in it. But this is a small part of a larger problem that is growing in America, because multiple different places are being taken over by Venezuelan gangs. And Trump was absolutely right. Trump was right. He said it. He said they letting out their jails, because when I did some research, and I was talking about this on the Millionaire Morning Show on a completely different clip.
That's true. Now, Trump talks about this. He's like, look, why is the crime going down in Venezuela by like 70%, but going up here? And then, oh, look, there's a bunch of Venezuelan gang members here. Okay. What math are you guys doing? Because this is not adding up in the way of favoring good people, people who just want to do right by their neighbor. This is not actually helping them.
And I was like, yo, what is the name of this gang? Because they actually have a gang and everything like that. And I said, what's the name of this gang? And how is this playing out? They said, man, that is a jail gang. That is a gang that is proliferating and has already been popping off in Venezuela and stuff. And so when they broke into the gun shops and then they started to execute on this type of time, the people over there in Aurora and in Denver, they're not ready for it. Now the Denver mayor is saying something completely different. So we're gonna get to him on a whole nother clip. But the point that I'm making is that this is unheard of on American soil. And it first starts with our federal government and the Biden-Harris administration, in which she jumped on CNN and she didn't answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
She did not be accountable for what it is that they left the borders open. She flip-flopped on every other issue. And then all of y'all Democratic mayors and governors joined in on the fight and made yourselves sanctuary cities instead of aligning on the border. They fought Trump tooth and nail his entire administration, but he largely was successful in making sure that he stemmed the migrant crisis. When they got into office, they had an inflation rate of 1.2%, and the country just completely went to shit over the last 3.5 years. And now y'all talking about y'all want to vote her back in based off of identity. Get the hell out of here, bro. This is insane.
That's exactly how I feel. People want to vote for her just because she's a woman and she has nice tan skin. I mean, that to me is ludicrous. Nobody's arguing if she's pretty or not. Yeah, Kamala's pretty. These policies are not pretty. These policies are downright dangerous. I mean, as one person with two eyes, I've noticed an extreme difference. We went to Target last night and somebody was being assaulted. The Ace Hardware person was being assaulted, so we left. I went to King Soopers, which is a local grocery store recently, and witnessed somebody break into a BMW in the parking lot at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I have actually rubbed shoulders with these Venezuelan gang members. I witnessed an assault right before my eyes. I've witnessed 3 fentanyl overdoses as my daughter and I are walking along the streets in a nice middle class neighborhood. I've noticed crime everywhere. And yet, if somebody like me speaks up like, hey, this is a really big problem, then I'm called a racist. So how bad does it have to get before it matters? I'm convinced that the people who don't understand this have just somehow not seen it, or they're turning a blind eye to it. But if you haven't witnessed it firsthand, I promise if this doesn't stop, if we don't get some regulations in place, then it will come to a neighborhood near you soon. And I don't want that to happen. When I spoke to the police department this morning, I said, what can be done? And they said, vote. Vote. They said, we're in meetings every single day with our deputy about how we can stop this. But they said the migrant lawbreakers, the migrant crimes have gotten so vast. They said that's the majority of what they deal with, and they can't even file them. They can't file them fast enough, A, and B, they said most of the people are just let go. And sure, they're fingerprinted once they come in, they said, but they give us fake names and they have no ID. So once they're let out on cash bail, yeah, we have that fingerprint to match them up with the fake name that we filed them under. But they said, other than that, we don't know. They're just free to go. They're just free to go and hurt more people. How is this okay? And they said, because Denver is a sanctuary city, there's nothing they can do. They said, they're in meetings about it every single day. I said, so what can just basic citizens do to draw awareness to this or to stop this? And the Denver police officer said, vote. And I said, I'm not trying to, talk politics here, but I said, are these the Biden and Kamala policies that have gotten us here? And this police officer said, yes, they are. They are. That's just fact. So we can all be gaslit into thinking, oh, I'm voting for joy and love and because I don't want to be racist. But you're actually, if you're voting for Kamala, you're actually being racist just by voting for her because of the crime that's happening to so many people of color as a result. So if you really don't want to be racist, you've got to vote for reform on this stuff. And please come into the comments. Don't just call me name. Explain to me how this can be good. A lot of people are coming in to harm right now. This is just a fact. I see it, you see it, and if you don't see it, you must be one of those elites that gets to live behind a gated community, or you've just turned a blind eye because you don't want to be considered racist. I understand that. But guess what? This crime is on people of all different colors. This crime that's happening, the fentanyl overdose that's happening in our streets, that is a crime that is happening on American citizens of all different shapes, sizes, colors, and religious backgrounds. The takeover that's happening, starting in different apartment buildings in Aurora, they don't want to admit it, but it's happening. They say Kyle Clark delivers on 9 News. I guess who is this guy? I'm sorry, Kyle. I don't want you at my defense when stuff goes down. I mean, am I supposed to call you, Kyle? Am I supposed to call Oprah? Am I supposed to call Kamala? Because if we have no police, who are we supposed to call to help us? Nobody? What is going on here?
That property owner and now 3 conservative city council members in Aurora say that the residents and the city are not telling the truth. They
okay.
claim, without evidence, that the building is actually being closed because it was taken over by a Venezuelan gang.
That building has been a problem for years.
Mountains of garbage, rats, sewage, no electricity. Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman defends the unprecedented decision by the city to close.
Yeah, and that apartment is probably like $3,500 a month for 1 bedroom. Thank you, Bidenomics.
Was the entire apartment building at Colfax and Nome.
We've been working with this building and its owners for a very long time. I mean, they're out-of-state slumlords, and they haven't maintained the building.
The landlord from New York has hired a public relations firm out of Florida and now has several of Mayor Kaufman's fellow conservatives on Aurora City Council convinced that the real issue is not years of code violations, but a city cover-up of a takeover of the complex by a Venezuelan gang.
We have a Venezuelan gang problem that has taken over a number of our apartment complexes.
The city of Aurora says that's not true. And Aurora police.
The city of Aurora, that's not true. This is a friendly situation. We just had to get everyone out of there in 6 days after years of neglect. Okay.
Urge city council to be wary of misinformation.
We don't know that all the information that's publicly out there right now is correct. It's probably not.
Aurora police say they believe the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua is operating inside the Denver metro area. There's a new task force working to identify the number of gang members and what they're doing.
They're here. We know they're here. We think this is a test.
City Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky suggested that a recent mass gathering of Venezuelans to await election results was linked to the gang. Mayor Kaufman says it's counterproductive to conflate a gathering of thousands of people with gang activity at a time when Aurora needs help from Venezuelan immigrants to root out the gang.
It's challenging because they tend to prey on their own. In other words, these are Venezuelan gang members within the Venezuelan community, which is new to our area, and there's a fear factor in terms of trying to get the cooperation among these Venezuelan migrants to report, that they're being victimized.
It's so scary out there. I mean, we are literally living in a war. We're living in a war now. And if you speak up about it, then you're called a name or you're just victimized by it. So we've got to do something about this, because it's like, maybe it had good intentions to be a sanctuary city, but now citizens are not safe. We're not safe anymore. So this is just, it's really sad. It's very scary. And it's very, very real. So I may just have to start speaking up more about this. No, this has never been a political channel, and I've never wanted to talk politics because I really do believe in having freedom of speech, meaning all different voices. But that doesn't also mean shutting my voice out. You know, I matter too, and you matter too. And if you're worried about the safety of yourself and your family and your neighbors, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. In my book, that actually is the opposite. It means you're a good person. It means you're a good neighbor. It means you're a good human being who actually cares about the safety, health, and well-being of yourself. Because if you're not safe, healthy, and well, you can't help anybody else. So about the safety and health and well-being of yourself, your family, and everybody around you. And if you care about those things, in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit, you're a good person, regardless of what you look like. And if you want to call me a name because I care about the safety, health, and well-being of myself, my child, my neighbors, my friends, my family, the community at large, then you've been under the mass programming more than maybe you realize. Because honestly, I don't know anybody who can get behind this with a clear conscience and good heart. We've got to clean this up. And like the police department said this morning to me, you know, you got to vote. You got to vote, and you can't vote for who's popular and who throws a better concert or what musician you like the most. We're way past that. We're not voting on who can put on a good show, who can read a script and fake it better or whatever. That we're so beyond that. Now we're about safety, health, well-being, how we can make money, how we can live productive lives, how we can be good humans on the planet. Like that's what this is about. I don't see it any other way. Okay. I hope this made sense because like I said, I dissociate so hard when I'm trying to talk about this stuff because it's just so sad to me. I'll talk to you soon. Please like and share, subscribe, and be safe. So much love to you.